Feel sunshine inside like I haven't felt since summer.
No! Can I have sunshine in my heart?
Yes, Renewal by Andersen windows are hassle-free, energy-efficient, low maintenance with a professional perfect fit.
Oh, what does it feel like?
Yes, I want to know too.
I can look at the snow and I think I understand why people actually like winter.
No!
Yes.
For a perfect fit, call Renewal by Andersen of South Dakota, 605-593-5991. 605-593-5991.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker in Rapid City. If you considered selling your current home, let me take you to that next step with confidence. The Black Hills housing market is competitive, and I have been in the business of attracting buyers for 15 years. Let's make it happen. Contact me, David Brenneman, at 415-0044. List it, sell it, and move on. With me, David Brenneman, at 415-0044.
Looking for a great place for a pregame meal that really satisfies? Or maybe you want a place to take your all-star after the game. Or you're looking for a place to enjoy a delicious meal while watching your favorite team on the big screen TV. Valley Sports Bar and Grill has all the bases covered for all those things and more. Top-notch, friendly, and attentive service. Wall-to-wall big screen TVs with all the big games. And the absolute best wings in Rapid City. Valley Sports Bar. Make it your place. 1865 Valley Drive, Rapid City.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City. This is the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
We are Fox Sports!
And here's what you need to know.
No LeBron James or Anthony Davis for the Lakers tonight as they face the Jazz, but it could be a very different story on Friday night. The Athletic reports that Davis is expected to return from his foot injury, barring a setback, to face the Pelicans. ESPN reported earlier today that James has a shot to play against New Orleans tomorrow night as well. In college basketball, a couple of Big Ten stars heading to the NBA draft. Purdue's Jaden Ivey and Wisconsin's Johnny Davis both announced their intentions to turn pro. In the NFL, Rams are signing linebacker Bobby Wagner to a 5-year deal worth a reported $50 million. NFL Network says it could be worth up to $65 million with incentives. Bruce Arians officially stepping down as the Buccaneers head coach today.
Jason and I have been talking about this, and obviously we included Joel and Tom and a few other people, but it wasn't spur of the moment.
And decision was made last night. Arians meeting with the media today. By the way, he'll be inducted into the team's Ring of Honor. I'm Dan Bob.
It's time for the only live and local sports talk show in the Black Hills. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, live interviews, and local sports. Exclusively on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City. And streaming online right now at foxsportsrapidcity.com. From the biggest national names to the hottest local stories, welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host.
Oh, here we go. Good Thursday afternoon. Welcome in. The Nate Brown Show is live in our downtown studio here on Fox Sports Rapid City. 106.7 FM, 1150 AM. Welcome in on the radio side. It's always a great day in the Black Hills. Remember, you can bring us up on your phone right there. Stream the audio at work, wherever you are, foxsportsrapidcity.com. And watch the show right now live on Twitter, at Nate Brown Show. Follow the show, all the guests, all the archives, all the interviews right there, at Nate Brown Show on Twitter. Welcome into the studio. Let's get going on a Thursday. South Dakota Sports Talk Show, brought to you in part by Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, the expert team in the Black Hills, taking care of the weekend warrior, to the elite athletes that they take care of out on the field and court right now. Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center with urgent care as well. Learn more at bhosc.com. Don't let an injury slow you down. Keep your active lifestyle with the expert orthopedic team. More access, better options at Black Hills Ortho. Learn more at bhosc.com. On the Thursday docket, I love it, man. I love this lineup right here. We've got Doug Gottlieb himself. Doug Gottlieb just got done with his show. I was texting with Doug earlier. I said, hey, we got to get a Final Four update from you. He's live in New Orleans So we're going to go to the Final Four. Doug Gottlieb's going to break down some college hoops, and we always love getting him on this time of year. So Doug Gottlieb live here on the Nate Brown Show coming up from the Final Four. Then we'll go down to Tampa tonight. Matt Materas, the Buccaneers beat writer, he's live from Tampa on the latest with the Bucs, as you all know by now. Bruce Arians is out, and Todd Bowles is in. Brad Spielberger's coming up, NFL cap analyst. Okay, this is the salary cap expert. I've been thinking to myself here over the last few weeks, like, how are these teams paying this guy that much and this guy that much and all of these contracts and everything that seems like the whole league is changing? I know the salary cap number has went up, but there's still a cap, and the way they're doing these contracts and the Deshaun Watson, the $230 million guaranteed, yet they can defer a lot of it in case he gets suspended, right? The whole thing. Brad Spielberger, NFL salary cap expert with PFF, Pro Football Focus, former Vikings legal intern, by the way. Yes, former Vikings legal intern. Brad Spielberger is coming up. We'll have an interesting segment with him, PFF.com. Down to Denver tonight, Doug Ottewell's in. Broncos, Rockies, we'll hit them both with Mile High Sports senior editor Doug Ottewell from Denver. And big news out of USD today, we'll get the voice of the Coyotes, John Thayer. He had a long time covering women's basketball. Now he's on the men's side in football and men's basketball. But John Thayer knows Don Plitzowite very well. Now former head coach of the South Dakota women's basketball program. We'll get John Thayer on live from Vermilion. So a Thursday show ready to go. 720-1067 is our number. Join the program. We'll get you on the Boss Pizzeria and Sports Bar Sports Line Live, 720-1067. The Barron's Wilson text line also ready. Direct text the show, 720-1067. Same number. You can text the show. We'll get those out on the program. So there's the biggest news of the day, and I'll start there. USD women's basketball we've covered here on the show. We've talked to David Herbster, the athletic director. We've had Don Plitzowite on the show, and all of the good things going on there with that women's program. I mean, they have just been really, really good, and it goes back now for about a decade, nearly. I mean, when you think about this, I know time flies, but the University of South Dakota women's basketball program, the high level of success, and now they reached, I don't know if you'd call it the pinnacle, but it's as far as they've been to the Sweet 16 in the D1 tournament. Now you look back at this history here. Amy Williams did an outstanding job there. You know Amy Williams, she's from Spearfish. Amy Williams, great coach at USD, and then got a big opportunity where? Nebraska. So this is how these things go. When we have programs like USD and SDSU doing well, whether it's men's hoops, women's hoops, it seems you're going to have coaches get big attention from big programs in major conferences. And what the major conferences have, we all know this, they have major dollars. So I wanted to look at this. I wanted to bring this up and say, okay, what can USD and South Dakota State do to avoid this? Oh, now we got to look for another new coach. Now we got to find the next Don Plitzowite who can keep this program going. As I said, the success has been really, really good. You look at Don Plitzowite's record, 158-36 in the last 6 years. 158-36. They won 3 Summit League titles, 3 Summit League tournament titles, and went to the NCAA tournament 4 consecutive NCAA tournaments. And now the program is, how can we find that next coach? Because Amy Williams had success, kind of got this thing going initially. Amy Williams got the women's program going at USD, and they've started getting a national profile, and now it truly has become a national women's program. I said this, I think, a couple of weeks ago on the show, the USD South Dakota State scenario. These women's programs, South Dakota State's playing in the WNIT semis tonight, as a matter of fact. So, I mean, we know how good the Jackrabbit women are as well. Aaron Johnston, the head coach, longtime head coach there, he hasn't left yet, but Where will that may lead him? Who knows if South Dakota State makes a Sweet 16 run in the near future? Does he get a big opportunity? So I ask you today, can USD and South Dakota State do anything about this? It's a question I ask. I have the answer, I think. I don't have too many answers. I have the answer. It's not an answer everybody's going to like. Can USD and SDSU do anything about, man, look at these programs are now national programs on the women's side. Man, but we lose coaches to Nebraska. And now Dawn Plitzowite, head coach USD women, she goes to West Virginia today. So she's going to West Virginia. Can the Coyotes and Jackrabbits do anything about this? Let's dig into the scenario. Because people say, well, you got to take these positions because the money is a factor. It's a major factor. And the deal is this. Dawn Plitzowite was making $250,000 at USD. That's not a bad living in Vermilion, right? Not a bad living. $250,000 at USD. She signed the deal today with West Virginia, a program which, by the way, isn't on the level of USD as far as winning, as far as national profile. And I know, well, it's West Virginia, it's Power 5, it's major conference. See, that's all fine. I'm going to tell you this, West Virginia is going to have less fan support. They're not on the level of USD women's basketball as far as that goes and making runs into the tournament. Their coach that just got let go there, he's been to the tournament a handful of times in 21 years. A handful of times. And I just went through the run with Dawn Plitzowite there over and over and over as of late. 158 wins in the last 6 years. But you know what West Virginia has? They have dollars. And they have dollars coming in through the TV contracts, through the football program, and the whole thing. USD pays Dawn Plitzowite $250,000. She signs a deal today about $600,000 a year. It's about $600,000 a year. And if you look at it, the long-term deal, it's going to take her up to nearly $3 million. Can USD do anything about that? My answer is I don't think so. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Oh, you're going to hate my response.
What do you got?
It's a stepping stone. Honestly, Nate, who comes here?
No, these programs have been that way, Steve. I mean, you're right. That's kind of what I'm pointing
that's
out.
What I'm saying, Nate. Why do you think it's so hard to recruit at Nebraska? When they got rid of, see, people don't realize this. They bring in Bill Callahan after Solich, and we quit recruiting statewide. Who else is coming here? We took good kids and turned them into football players. But honestly, who wants to come to South Dakota? It's not a real D1 school.
What do you mean?
Can we play for a national championship in football?
Well, we're talking women's basketball, and they can.
I know, Nate, but I'm still saying the same thing. Nobody's going to come here. This is a stepping stone.
Well, the deal is...
It's a stepping stone.
It is, and I will say that I don't think there's anything that the Jackson and Coyotes can do. If you find a next Dawn Plitzowite, great, but you're going to keep losing these coaches. And it just is what it is. We can't raise the salary to $600,000 a year.
Okay, now you kind of tiptoed around that word loyalty. Okay, let's look how loyal coaches are to schools. Let's look at how loyal kids are to their schools. There's no loyalty anymore. And as far as college coaching jobs, when there's 200 Division I schools, there's jobs everywhere, Nate.
Well,
they're just trying to make an appearance. You know, USD, you make a run into the tournament. You get promoted to the next level.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. We've seen men's coaches do it, too. Otzelberger did it with South Dakota State men. He went to UNLV just a couple of years ago.
And I'm just going to bring this up, too. You know, our own arena right here. You know, well, we could host. Oh, we got the Black Hills. Who wants to come to the Black Hills in March, February?
Everybody. If they go to Sioux Falls, if you want to go to Sioux Falls during that time, I think if you want to go to Sioux Falls during that time, I think they'd come to Rapid City too.
For what?
You got to host an event.
Omaha just lost the Olympic swim trials. They've had it for 4 straight
I've
trials.
heard about that. Yeah.
It was awesome, but we spent money to get them here, Nate. You know, you don't have Warren Buffett.
Well,
you don't have that
we got to invest a little bit.
Pacific.
We got to invest. We don't have to be on that level, but we got to invest a little bit. There's no reason we can't get D2 events here.
I agree. We should go for D2 wrestling. Nate, we put 12 wrestling mats in that Monument Theater for the Rapid City Invite. Nate, we were done by 4 o'clock the first day. Usually that's 8 o'clock.
No,
we're like, what the heck?
No, I got you on that. I said wrestling.
We could do the D2
basketball,
wrestling. I'll
hockey.
guarantee you that'd sell out.
All right, buddy.
But I'm just saying it's a stepping stone. It's sad.
No, I agree with you on that. It is. People don't want to see it as that because of the success, but it is. The dollars
Look how many
don't compare.
wrestling coaches South Dakota State has had. They're on like their 3rd, 4th. I mean, these guys. Bono went to Wisconsin to be their head coach.
Yep.
It's just
same deal. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for getting in. 720-1067 is the number as we get started. And that's the thing. So I'll throw out the question of the day. I wanted to see what people would say here. Don Plitzowite had an unbelievable run here at USD. And it's always disappointing. I've been through this. I was over at Wyoming. I went through that at Wyoming. The Wyoming Cowboys back in the mid-'90s, they went 10-2. They played BYU in the WAC championship. They were ranked in the top 15. I mean, the Wyoming Cowboys, an elite program, right? Back in the day, guess what Joe Tiller, the head coach, did? He took Wyoming to a great spot, and then where did Joe Tiller go? You might not know this. He went to the Big Ten to Purdue. And he had guys, you might know him, Drew Brees, Kyle Orton. You might have heard of these guys. Out of Purdue, and that was Joe Tiller, who was initially at Wyoming. Wyoming's even been seen that way. Let's just follow the path here in these coaches. Can universities do anything to keep elite coaches at the mid-majors, lower-level programs? I don't know if they can, and I think it just has to be in that right wheelhouse of what? Well, the coach is kind of comfortable. The coach wants to stay in this community and just likes their spot. And in this case, Don Plitzowite said, hey, been stepping up along her career, got an opportunity at USD, hit it out of the park, and now goes to the Big 12, West Virginia, and says, hey, here we are, making $600,000 a year as opposed to $250,000. It's a big deal. So I ask you this. Think about TJ Otzelberger. Do you remember that name? South Dakota State men's basketball coach just a couple of years ago. We had TJ on the show quite a bit when we got started. He goes to UNLV, and then it wasn't that long ago. I see this in just a year, the Iowa State job opens up. Iowa State. And I said, that's where he was an assistant before at Iowa State. So TJ Otzelberger goes from South Dakota State to UNLV and got a bump up. And then he says, hey, I'm going to go to Iowa State, even from UNLV. It's a path along the way. And I don't know if there's anything, some people said, well, USD's got to raise some dollars and they got to, get this thing at a really, really high level. I don't think you can compete. You can't compete. If the coaches don't, if they say, hey, it's kind of like Craig Bohl over at Wyoming now. It sounds like he kind of just wants to stay there. Craig, getting older, he's going into his 9th year at Wyoming, the longest tenured coach in the history of the program for the Wyoming football program. That's something, right? But kind of wanted to stay there. He was already an assistant at Nebraska, and he's already been through that whole thing. And now he's saying, I think I'll just stay at Wyoming as long as they'll have me. Those are the types of coaches you're going to have stay, like John Stiegelmeier. The men's coach on the basketball side, Coach Nagy left SDSU for Wright State. He's still there at Wright State. Otzelberger goes to UNLV, goes to Iowa State. They were just in the tournament. You saw them, right? In the Sweet 16. Now on the women's side, Amy Williams was there, got this thing really cranking, goes to Nebraska. She's making $626,000. Amy Williams, USD to Nebraska, $626,000. Dawn Plitzowite today, $250,000 at USD to $600,000. And it's not a defeatist attitude. I mean, I hate defeatist attitude, but in this budgetary stuff, it's not happening. I really believe that the USDs and SDSUs, if programs come calling, major programs, and that coach wants to be ambitious and wants to get going, it's over. It's over. West Virginia, how do they do this? You say, well, what do you mean? West Virginia women's basketball is not even as good as USD. They're not. They're not. However, let's take a look at their budget here last year. They brought in $103 million, their athletic budget. That's revenue, okay? $103 million. What do you think USD brought in last year? 16.2. Okay, so it's not a comparison. It's really not. Dawn Plitzowite's done an unbelievable job. What can USD and South Dakota State do? I don't think much. Listener text coming in talking about Coach Stiegelmeier. John Stiegelmeier at South Dakota State has had incredible success at football and has never left. And that is right. And that's the thing about John is, has he had some offers? Maybe. I'm not sure. John Stiegelmeier's settled in, older in his career, settled in at Brookings. South Dakota State just signed another extension. I think John's set, and he wanted to be at South Dakota State. It sure feels that way. He's had some assistant coaches that have gone through his tree. One of his assistant coaches, you may not know this, he's now the head coach at Vanderbilt. Was the D coordinator at Notre Dame, now the head coach at Vanderbilt. So that's in John Stiegelmeier's tree of coaches. So I think John probably could have looked and went there or here or there. Just a different scenario. He said, I'm doing fine, I guess. Dawn Plitzowite says, I want to go Big 12, see if I can build up West Virginia and make over twice as much. Listener text, I'm surprised no group or donor stepped up and offered to comp her at USD. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, when you're talking about it, I say overall budget-wise, USD can't compete with the West Virginias. They just can't. But that doesn't mean that some mega donor who really loves Dawn Plitzowite and the women's program and the Sweet 16 run here last week and the whole thing doesn't step in there and say, hey, I'll endow this coaching situation. So you can make a major donation, do an endowment, have this whole thing to say, I'll cover this gap. Now, that's a big chunk. I know it's only a couple $100,000. When you're talking about endowments and doing that whole thing, a couple $100,000 every year, making some earnings off that, you better get a big chunk in there. Better get a big chunk of money in there. Doesn't mean it wouldn't happen, but it's not. And these things happen quick. West Virginia comes calling, boom. They were just in the Sweet 16. We know this last weekend. And now Dawn Plitzowite's out. Great career at USD. Listener text, you kind of have to find an older coach looking to settle in but still want to compete at a high level. Look at Northern State and their old men's basketball coach, Don Meyer, spent 10 years there. Yeah. That's the next deal is before I get to Doug Gottlieb at the Final Four. He's going to join us live on the Nate Brown Show coming up. That's the next thing. We'll talk to John Thayer about this. He covered the Coyote women's program for a long time. He's the voice of the Coyotes from Vermilion. We'll talk to John tonight. It's David Herbster, who we've had on a lot, the AD at South Dakota. Now he has to decide, do you get the up-and-comer, somebody young, passionate, had some success maybe as an assistant and wants to get things really going, energetic, high energy, great recruiter, that whole thing? And then, well, they're going to want to keep on going, right? Or you try and find, well, maybe we go this route, somebody that'll settle in here. That's never a guarantee. I mean, Dawn Plitzowite's not like spring chicken. She's not old, you know. I don't like getting into characterizing people, but she's not like super young, like, up and comer. But Dawn Plitzowite didn't have any big steps in her career, okay? It was a big one to get the USD job. Did so well. Now an even bigger one to West Virginia. But that's what USD program has to think about. Like, what type of coach should we look at? And it's so hard because nothing's a guarantee. So you just have to make the right call on the person you think is going to be good right now, not the person you're worried about leaving, because this happens a lot. And in the USD program in the past decade, we've seen it. Amy Williams, great job. Got him to the national program level. Got the job at Nebraska. Dawn Plitzowite takes him even further into the Sweet 16 for the first time for the Coyote women. Boom, the next week gets the job at West Virginia. And the budgets can't compete. $102 million coming into West Virginia. That's why they say, hey, $600,000 a year for the women's coach. We're in on that. We're in on that. $102 million for the West Virginia athletic revenue last year. USD's athletic revenue, $16.2 million. It's just two different worlds. Listener text, didn't Denny Sanford donate a bunch of money to USD? Yeah, they have the Coyote Sanford Center. I mean, I don't know if that was Denny himself, but it was the Sanford Health situation there. They got a new basketball facility, that whole thing. I mean, that's all part of this, growing USD's footprint and getting better recruits and building this program. The program's really, really good. The budget overall will never get to Big 12 standards, even though the program is surpassing the Big 12 in many ways in women's basketball. The budget is where it's at, and I don't think there's really anything that you can do. Wyoming can't do much. USD and SDSU can't do much, and even UNLV. Iowa State comes calling to TJ Otzelberger last year. UNLV's like, we've got a good basketball program, and we used to be the running Rebels. It's over. It's the dollars. Coming right back with Doug Ottlieb. He is live at the Final Four. A lot to discuss in college hoops with Doug on the way.
You're listening to the Nate Brown Show. Remember to follow us on Twitter at Nate Brown Show and like us on Facebook by searching Fox Sports Rapid City.
Today on Hey Culligan, buy to save. Here's a text from Devin in Denver. Hey Culligan, I'd love a water softener, but I don't want to pay for it. Devin, I can't help you there, but a Culligan high-efficiency softener can help you save oodles on energy and detergent, so the savings can be even greater than the cost. And I'm getting a mind-blown emoji followed by, yes please. Devin, the savings are already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A winter weather advisory begins at 11 p.m. tonight and continues until noon tomorrow. Cloudy tonight with rain mixed with snow likely. Lows around 33. Northwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. 50 tomorrow. Chance for mixed precipitation. Lows level off around 29. Tomorrow night, about an inch of snow tonight through tomorrow. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 53.
Physical therapy, athletic training, and sports science all at one place. Physio in Rapid City. Dr. Dan Jensen and his team at Physio are ready to help you perform at your best. From the youth athlete to the active adult, trust the team at Physio. Physio offers the skilled, personalized approach to physical therapy and athletic training, building the best athletes in the Black Hills as the official strength and conditioning provider for Stevens, Central, and the Rapid City Rush. Learn more at bhphysio.com.
If you have a Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, BMW, Volvo, or any other high-end import, you might think you have to take your car to Denver or further for service. Hi, this is Martin from Al's D&I Repair. Don't plan your life around taking your car for service in a town 400 miles away. Bring it to Al's D&I Repair. Our technicians are trained to work on those complicated cars, and we also have the tools and equipment so they have everything they need to make sure your car is working perfectly.
Call Al's D&I to set up your appointment at 348-1447.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid
Hey, welcome back in. Just getting going on a Thursday. South Dakota Sports Talk Show is live on Fox Sports Rapid City, the Nate Brown Show. We've got Matt Matera coming up, Buccaneers beat writer from Tampa. He's on the way talking about the Bucs situation today. Brad Spielberger's coming up, NFL cap analyst. I want to get into the cap here. He knows the cap. Okay, Brad Spielberger, PFF.com. He's on tap. Just talked about the University of South Dakota women's basketball coach Don Plitzowite goes to the Sweet 16 for the first time last week. And the Coyote women's head coach takes the new job at West Virginia today. And I say it's just hard for these mid-majors to compete. We've lost Amy Williams to Nebraska, Don Plitzowite to West Virginia, TJ Otzelberger to UNLV, and then to Iowa State right after that. Guy that knows college hoops and the whole situation there. Doug Gottlieb's in, Fox Sports Radio. You just heard his show. He's working hard at the Final Four. Find him on Twitter at Gottlieb Show. Doug, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm good. That's what happens. You beat Baylor and you get a job.
That's basically the deal. I asked this question, though, Doug, and you can help me. I said, I don't think there's anything the University of South Dakota / South Dakota State, like with Otzelberger, there's nothing these schools can do to keep coaches like that.
No, I mean, unless they grew up in the area and their family doesn't want to move, you know. I mean, the money difference, I would guess, is so great. You know, I don't know what he got at what was he making in South Dakota?
Well, it's like $300.
No way.
Yeah. $250?
No, he wasn't making $300.
$250? Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
No chance,
yes.
dude.
Don Plitzowite, the USD women's coach.
I don't have my computer. I'm Google real quick.
Okay.
Because it's a state school, so it's.
Well, here's the deal. I've got it right for Don Plitzowite, women's coach, USD. Don Plitzowite made $250,000.
Okay.
But she goes to West Virginia and she makes $600,000. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, it's double, more than.
And look, if you're going to a major city, well, then that 600 doesn't carry you nearly as far. But if you're going to a college town, you know, like Morgantown,
right?
Yeah, I mean, like, what are you going to do, man?
I got you on
There's
that.
nothing you can do. And by the way, like, that's the gig of athletic directors have different gigs at different schools. You know, at a lot of the bigger schools, the athletic director, one, you have to run the entire athletic department, obviously, but you have to, you know, raise money. You have to do that, but when you're at a lower level, you have to have that list in your drawer. You know?
Yeah. Right.
And you know, it's fine. If somebody gets a job, that's a sign that your job, that, you know, you were able to do well enough for somebody else to get promoted. So then you got to find the next person.
What's your read on Otzelberger? I had you on. He made a quick transition. He was at South Dakota State, did well, got the job at UNLV, and then boom, got the job at Iowa State, and he goes to the Sweet 16. What's your reaction to his rise?
Not surprised how well he did it. It was more surprising that he didn't really fit or seem to enjoy his time in Vegas. Obviously, one of those years was he had kind of like 2 pandemic years, sort of, right? And that thing was a bit of a mess for Marvin Menzie. The previous coach only got a couple years because they had originally hired Mick Cronin, and then Mick backed out. Then they hired Chris Beard. He had it for like 10 days, and then he left for Texas Tech. Then they gave it to Marvin Menzie, who, you know, he's coach of the decade in the WAC at New Mexico State, but, you know, they didn't give much time. And so I don't think Otz felt like it was a great fit for him and his family, whereas Iowa State did. Iowa State was, and he did well. So not surprised, and he had an incredible transition.
Doug Gottlieb on live from the Final Four. I'll get to the Final Four. I want one more take on a coach. Eric Musselman spent a lot of time in Rapid City here. He was the coach of the Rapid City Thrillers back in the day. And now Musselman's made a great way through the NBA and then into the college. Nevada parlays that to Arkansas. And now he's up near the Duke recruiting class level. What do you say about Eric Musselman and his longevity at Arkansas?
Well, I mean, first, he's doing a great job. He's a really good coach. In terms of longevity, Arkansas, he's in pretty good shape. The one thing that I would caution people against is, so he has 6 top 100 recruits. They play with 1 ball, right? So, I don't know how that thing works. And the thing about college basketball these days is, your best player they go pro, and then your next 3 players want to be your best players, so they leave and go to another school, and then your guys come off the bench to leave because they're coming off the bench, and they want to go to the start right away. So let's see how it looks at the end of the year, but the recruiting is impressive, but also keep in mind that not everybody recruits high-level high school kids anymore. Some of these schools, they just wait for the portal.
That's right. How has Musselman done it? Success at Nevada, success at Arkansas. You say he's a good coach. What's good about Musselman?
He's a very good coach. Playing in the minor league, I got to play in the minor leagues. He got to coach in the minor leagues for a long time. There's just so many situations and so many different systems you play against, styles, personnel. You have to be more pragmatic. And I think one of the things that Eric is able to do, I think Bill Self this weekend you'll see this, is be pragmatic. You don't have to be a zone coach to play zone. You have to be a man coach to play man. You have to be a triangle coach to coach 2 triangle and 2. Do whatever it takes to win. A lot of college coaches still operate under that old belief, hey, if we do what we do well, doesn't matter. They got to adjust to us. It just doesn't work that way.
Doug Gottlieb on from the Final Four, New Orleans, Fox Sports Radio host. You heard him on the Doug Gottlieb Show every weekday here, 1 to 4. Let's go to the Final Four. So before I get into Duke and UNC, that whole thing, fouls are down being called. They're down in this NCAA tournament, one of the lowest numbers we've seen. Is basketball, college hoops, too physical, Doug?
I don't think so. I think it's just the right level of physicality. It does take you to be physical and tough-minded defensively in order to do so, but I don't think it's too. It's definitely gotten more physical, but it's not too physical. Does that make sense?
Okay. So you're okay with the old quote, "Let them play." That's what people say. Hey, they're letting them play.
I mean, it's just a different. Like, look, it's very physical, but then they call all these flops charges. Say like. I mean, what are we doing here? Are we going to do? Is it going to be physical or not physical? And so I look. There's always some tinkering, and I don't think the officiating has been great in the NCAA tournament. But I do like the fact that you can guard somebody, you can bump into bang somebody more so than you used to be able to.
Okay, you called games as you do all season long. Did you notice anything this year as far as the officiating? Like, we're not going to call as many fouls because the numbers are down
Correct.
in the tournament.
Yes, I did. I mean, I think everybody saw it, and then every league was like, every coach, this is the most physical our league's ever been, which is kind of hard to tell because coaches always say that. Coaches always say their league is more difficult than they've always been, more physical than they've always been. This is the toughest year we've ever had. We've had more injuries than ever. They're very, they do the pessimist thing really, really well. But yes, the physicality was pretty obvious to notice. In the similar fashion to a couple years ago when they did freedom of movement, where the lack of physicality was easy to notice.
Let's break down the game Saturday. The game's Saturday. So Duke, North Carolina. Is Duke quite a bit better?
I don't know if they're quite a bit better. They're a little bit better. Carolina's played much better of late. Remember, you're putting Brady Manick out there as a fifth-year senior. He scored a lot of buckets. Baycott, they're just wired differently. I actually like how they are together. How it all works together. I just don't like Carolina's bench. They just have very little coming off the bench. Duke got a ton coming off the bench, but a lot more than what Carolina has. I think Duke wins and Duke covers. It's a high-scoring, fun game, but I do think Duke has more offensive weaponry in this matchup.
Let's go to the other game with Doug Gottlieb, Fox Sports Radio host here on the Nate Brown Show. Kansas, Villanova. Villanova, some injuries. They're a grinder team. A grinder team is how do you see that one?
I think Kansas wins. I think if Justin Moore had played, I think Nova would win. He's their second-leading scorer. He's taking more shots than anybody else. Have a hybrid guard. I still think Kansas will struggle a little bit with the post-up, because what Villanova will do is they'll post up Colin Gillespie. It's kind of like your big brother in the driveway, just back you down. The second you help, they'll kick it out for an open three-point shot. So you got to figure out how you're going to play post defense against them. And most guards hate playing post defense. If they do, it's for one possession a game. In that game, you'll play probably 75 to 80% of the possessions post defense. I think Kansas can win the game. I don't think they're a super talented club, but they play hard, they play together, and they find a way to just score enough. And the biggest addition to them is Remy Martin, who was on a milk carton until like 2 weeks ago, and now he's back, and now he's playing at the right level. I don't know if Kansas chose the wrong level of guy. Had you chosen him before, you wouldn't have had to get to this point in terms of the level of pursuit for him and what it may cost to get him. But I think it's a really interesting matchup.
Kansas, Duke, who you have in the title game, and you have winning Monday night?
I got Duke. I don't think it's a super talented Kansas club. I do think they're exceptionally well coached. I don't see how Dave McCormick scores on that level of length inside and athleticism and shot blocking ability of Mark Williams. I like Duke.
Okay, Doug Gottlieb. I'm a Duke fan. Watched Coach K all these years. What are we going to remember about Coach K here as he wraps it up this week?
I think he's the foremost coach of the 21st century, right? And if he wins the sixth title. It's like walking out like John Wooden, and he's kind of modern day Wooden. I think that's how you contextualize.
It's interesting because and it's all levels. I mean, college, and then he coached Olympics. Just respected across the board. Duke, Doug Gottlieb's pick, and he's down in New Orleans. Get some rest, Doug. You got to get ready for the weekend. I appreciate you coming on.
I'll do it. We're still when are we doing the remote up there?
We're doing it, man. I'm telling you. You know this, okay? Do you want to do football? Is that what you want? Football.
No, I want to do late spring or summer.
Okay. I was like, well, spring, but you got all this basketball going on, and all right.
I'm done in 3 days, bro.
All right. We'll make that work. I appreciate it, man.
Right,
Thanks.
Cool.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Always appreciate Doug Gottlieb taking some time. He flew into New Orleans, did his show. He's like, man, I've been up all night on a red eye, and he said, I still got to do the Nate Brown show, so he hops on. Always like getting him this time of year. And I've been talking to Doug. I said, hey, we're going to get you up here because he wants to come to the Black Hills. He's never been here. Never been to Mount Rushmore, never been to this whole area. He said, I got to get there, so we're going to do the show up there. He'll come and do the show with me. That's what he said. But, he said, well, maybe basketball or maybe football time. And now, what did he just say? After basketball and then, into the summer? What are we going to talk about, Doug? He has always something to talk about. Doug Gottlieb picks Duke. He picks Duke. Everybody's picking Duke. I had on an analyst yesterday. The pick was Duke. Tomorrow we'll have on another live report from New Orleans, college basketball beat writer Jim Root. He's down in New Orleans tomorrow. What's his pick going to be? Everybody's picking Duke, which is the kiss of death. Is Duke just better? I think so, but that North Carolina game Saturday, I've seen them play North Carolina now, okay? I'm a Duke fan, so I watch these games. I watch a lot of games. That's dicey to me. They just, decked them in Coach K's last home game, and I know all the hoopla and all that whole thing. I watched the whole thing, but North Carolina's playing well, and that was kind of like the start of it. They started turning the corner after they beat Duke at Duke. That's not a gimme on Saturday, I will tell you that. Doug Gottlieb in tonight. Now we go to Brad Spielberger, NFL salary cap analyst. Do we know what the salary cap, how it affects teams? How are we signing record deals? Tyreek Hill, Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, and still staying under the cap and putting a team together. Brad Spielberger on these big contracts. PFF.com salary cap analyst on the way.
From high school to college to the pros, this is the Nate Brown Show on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
It's been said many times that life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. Have you been making plans to invest in new windows? Renewal by Andersen makes the best windows. It's that simple. And right now, Renewal by Andersen has an incredible financing offer. No money down, no interest, no payments for 1 full year, no payments for a year. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com, and remember, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans.
And ranchers with up to 24% lower shop rates than most local dealers. Adams ISC in Rapid City is your single go-to source for ag equipment inspection, service, and repair, including air conditioning. With over 20 years experience, Adams ISC Ag Tech Gary Christensen will have your ag equipment repaired and serviced to your satisfaction, either in our shop or at your location with our fully equipped field service truck on Deadwood Avenue in Rapid City or at 605-343-9393. Contact Adams ISC.
All right, guys, if you need a haircut, the one place I go every time is the Man Salon. And there's a reason for it. They just do the best job. You get a great haircut with your personal stylist. I can watch a game or whatever I want in my own station. Then I get shampoo, hot towel, shoulder massage, all at a great price at the Man Salon. 2 convenient locations for you at Rushmore Crossing and on West Main. The Man Salon offers a military discount for active and retired military. For your next appointment, just book at themansalon.net.
Here at Pizza Ranch, we love the unique ways other countries compliment their chefs. In France, they say magnifique. In Italy, delizioso. And in many parts of the world, it's a compliment to belch. Don't try that at home, kids. But at Pizza Ranch, we keep hearing the same thing over and over again when guests bite into our pizza. Mmm. Our famous chicken. Mmm. And all the favorites on our buffet. Mmm. We're beginning to think you're all trying to tell us something. We'll take that as a compliment. Pizza Ranch. Mmm.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Hey, Rapid City, it's Doug Gottlieb. Join me weekdays from 1 to 4 right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports, Rapid City. And now let's get you back to the Nate Brown Show, Rapid City's sports talk show.
All right, thank you, Doug Gottlieb. We just had Doug live on the program. That was good stuff, live from New Orleans. He is down covering the Final Four, of course. The Doug Gottlieb Show here on Fox Sports Radio every weekday, 1 to 4, leads into the Nate Brown Show, and we are live, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Thanks to Doug for hopping on. Busy show tonight. We'll go out to Brad Spielberger. We've had him before. Great coverage. The NFL, PFF.com. He's the NFL salary cap analyst. He's the salary cap guy. And with all these salaries, all these contracts, they said, we got to do this, man. We got to get him on, get his take on these contracts and record-setting deals. PFF_Brad. Find him there on Twitter at PFF_Brad. Brad, thanks for coming on the Nate Brown Show. I appreciate it. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
We're doing good out here, man. So I look at this, and I've talked to guys, and they say, well, a lot of these record deals, you know, it is what it is, and GMs and how they write up all this stuff, they just move money around and they make it work. So just give me the 30,000-foot answer of Aaron Rodgers, massive deal, averaging $50 million. Deshaun Watson, $230 guaranteed. And then you got like Tyreek Hill, another one, $30 million a year for a wide receiver. Salary cap's gone up, but how are teams doing it?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, you can kind of structure deals a certain way and push your cap obligation down the line. You know, the cash and the cap do not have to align in the first year, or in the early years, I should say. You know, Aaron Rodgers is making a lot more money than the $28 million salary cap hit he'll have in 2021. So, or 2022, excuse me. So, you know, you move things around, you shuffle things around. As for Tyreek Hill, that specifically the receivers, that's kind of funny money. In reality, his deal's for about $24-25 million per year. Devontae Adams about $22.5 million per year. So that's an entirely different conversation. But yeah, I mean, the general managers in these teams can maneuver these contracts and move things around so they can keep spending and adding talent to their roster.
Okay, tell me about the wide receiver deals, because people are saying, hey, these are the biggest average annual deals that we've seen for Hill and Devontae. But you said they're big, but they're lower than the numbers we see. What's the story?
Yeah, so sometimes in contracts, and it used to be more of a trend back in the day, and I think we saw another example today, frankly, with Bobby Wagner, but to have these super long deals for these older players. I mean, Von Miller's deal is another example, has 6 years for a 33-year-old pass rusher. But yeah, so with Tyreek Hill and Davante Adams, essentially, with Hill's deal, the fourth year has, I want to say it's $45 million salary. He's just not, that's just not going to be played on. And Davante Adams, in the fourth and fifth year, has a $35 and $35 million salary. So it kind of just artificially inflates it to where they're probably going to be playing on Tyreek Hill, a 3-year, $75 million deal. So definitely still top of market, $25 million per year, the highest paid wide receiver ever, no question. And Davante Adams, about 3 years, $67.5 million. So, when you get outside of the quarterback conversations, you got to look into the details because sometimes they'll tack on years at the end to kind of boost the numbers, so to speak.
Brad Spielberger, NFL salary cap analyst for the guys at PFF, PFF.com, and find him on Twitter at PFF_Brad. So the big one that everybody's wondering about is Deshaun Watson, and there's elements to it. $230 million guaranteed, but then everyone's going, well, not a lot's going to be paid out in a base salary this first year, it looks like, because they're a little concerned about will he play and if he gets fined and that whole thing. How did the Browns put this together?
Yeah, so part of it for sure is about the suspension, but also he has, a $10 million cap hit, which is crazy for a contract that over 5 years averages $46 million a year. So that's part of it as well. And what they did is about $45 million is in a signing bonus. And the way signing bonus hits the salary cap is you can spread it out over 5 years, as opposed to the salary, as you mentioned, is about $1 million, and that all hits in the current year. So that's how they get basically a flat cash in each year. He makes $46 million in cash every single year, but his first year cap is $10 million, and then it jumps to $55 million for the final 4 years of the deal.
We had a question come in, Brad, on this Deshaun Watson deal, and we get into the weeds here a little bit, but it's like, okay, in a guaranteed contract, do they have to put some money in an escrow account, like half of the money, so it's there and committed? What do we know about that with the Deshaun Watson scenario?
Yes, I love this question. Yes, so this has been a hot topic, and this is what owners are discussing, and truly the biggest kind of outlier aspect of this deal. And so, yes, owners have to put 75% of future fully guaranteed money obligations into escrow, and so historically, that's been used often to say, look, we do not want to fully guarantee money very far down the road in contracts. You look at Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, there are guarantees in later years, but they're not fully guaranteed at signing. Josh Allen set the record, actually, with $100 million fully guaranteed at signing just last offseason, about 9 months ago. Right, and so now Deshaun Watson pushes that to $230 million. So the ownership for the Browns has to put, just for his deal, about $157.5 million in escrow once you go through the full, all the rules, whereas for Josh Allen, it's $60 million. So it's a massive, massive jump in that area.
How much of a commitment is that for an owner? I mean, these owners have money, we understand, but $160 million in an escrow committed?
That's the crazy thing, right? Yes. So these are obviously billionaires. They're very wealthy people, but for folks to understand, to have that much cash on hand is different than owning equity and having assets that equal that amount. And for some of these owners, the family-owned teams, I mean, this is their only source of revenue, their only source of income. Obviously, some other owners now, have other ventures and make money through other means, but that is the crazy thing, is that, there are some owners that probably could not emulate what Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Browns, did here because, again, yes, they are worth more than that much money, but maybe they can't, scrounge up the liquidity and gather that much cash to put aside. That's a bigger challenge, even for how wealthy as these guys are.
Brad Spielberger, a couple more. I'll let him run. NFL salary cap analyst for Pro Football Focus, PFF.com. Does the Deshaun Watson contract and the model of it, does it shape another deal here moving forward for somebody? Meaning, set an example, set the bar now for a Joe Burrow, somebody like that.
So every single agent would probably be negligent to not try, right? As soon as the deal gets done, you have to say, look, we're at least going to ask for this, because if/when that club says, no, we're not doing that, we're not following that, you're going to say, okay, well, then you have to give us some sort of concession in another area. And so, it's funny. You mentioned Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, who are the two guys that are going to be up for massive extensions following this season. And frankly, the Bengals and Chargers are maybe not the most cash-rich run organization. So I don't think they can follow this strategy. What I've been trying to tell folks is that the Deshaun Watson situation is so unique because he had the no-trade clause, he effectively just went through free agency. Like, it really wasn't. Yes, the team had to trade with the Texans, and the way it was reported was interesting. It said, look, the Texans had to agree to the trade, and then teams were allowed to talk to Deshaun Watson. He was controlling the entire situation, and the contract and all that came with it was obviously a way to entice him to waive his no-trade clause to go to that club. So, I don't think that scenario is going to happen again anytime soon. With Burrow and Herbert, it's their original club. They have the franchise tags at their disposal and all those other leverage tools. So, again, they'll try, but I don't see it becoming the norm.
All right, last one. My Denver Broncos have Russell Wilson. He doesn't cost a lot right now. What do you think the Broncos are going to have to do with Russell in the near future?
Yeah, very interesting situation here because he effectively brought over the exact same contract that Matthew Stafford brought to the Rams. About 2 years, $52 million in that range for both guys. And I think what's kind of interesting is that Matthew Stafford was willing to wait a year. So came in, probably could have asked for an extension if he wanted. Oftentimes when you get traded for a big package, and obviously Russell Wilson was traded for a massive package of draft capital and players, you have a lot of leverage, right? You can often get big contracts because the team has already sunk so much into you and invested so much. But the precedent they might be able to point to Matthew Stafford and say, he waited a year, maybe we'd like you to wait a year as well. If he's not game for that, you're talking about a deal for $45 to $50 million per year for Russell Wilson, realistically.
Yeah, it's going to get to be a big number. Brad Spielberger is on. Follow him on Twitter. A great follow at PFF_Brad. I learned some stuff. PFF.com, NFL salary cap analyst. Brad, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. Brad Spielberger, excellent stuff. At PFF_Brad. Follow him there. Find him at PFF.com. The guy's at Pro Football Focus. He's the salary cap guy. Boy, that's interesting. So, what is going to happen? I love this business side of it. What is going to happen to the future NFL hot players? And mainly the hot players are who? Quarterbacks, number one. And then it kind of goes from there. And you see some of the deals for Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams got big, but the Deshaun Watson thing is off the charts. $230 million guaranteed, meaning the owner of the Browns has to have $160 million in escrow, committed, ready to go, cash. And now Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, they're tearing it up. Joe Burrow, he just went to the Super Bowl. Deshaun Watson hasn't even been close. He hasn't even been close. And he's setting the bar. I mean, where are these contracts going to go? Josh Allen just signed $100 million guaranteed. Josh Allen has been better than Deshaun. I hate to break it to you, but he's taken his team further. Hate to break it to you. But now you got Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. I mean, these quarterback contracts are going to be wild. Speaking of quarterbacks that have power, was this a power move in Tampa? I'm asking, was it a power move in Tampa? Bruce Arians is going to the front office. Todd Bowles is the head coach. Tom Brady is back. Matt Matera covers the Buccaneers. Beat writer down in Tampa on the way.
Your sports, your show. This is the Nate Brown Show on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
Rapid City in the Black Hills. If you're shopping for a new vehicle, before you buy, stop by Gateway, one of our two locations, 123 Omaha or 410 North Campbell. We specialize in credit rebuilder programs. We specialize in finding you the rarest cars in the market. We specialize in the funnest car buying experience. If you have good credit, bad credit, no problem. We specialize in people.
Gateway Autoplex with one of the largest inventories in the Black Hills. I'm Scott Hanna.
And I'm Adam Ray.
And nobody beats
a Gateway deal.
West River Electric, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative, is a proud supporter of our youth and area sports teams. West River Electric covers 4,500 square miles in western South Dakota and is committed to this community. From volunteer fire and ambulance to coaching youth sports teams, West River Electric employees are answering the call to serve and improve their local communities. To learn more, visit westriver.coop. West River Electric, powering you for a brighter future.
Are you dreaming of summer adventures? Plan for fun, but wait to pay with help from Black Hills Federal Credit Union. Through March 31st, take advantage of BHFCU's recreational vehicle loan specials. Wait 90 days until your first payment or cash in on a low rate and prepare for summer fun. Learn more at bhfcu.com. Text or call 605-718-1818 or discuss BHFCU financing with your dealer. Other restrictions apply. BHFCU is a member-owned, not-for-profit.
Customer service and knowledge. You expect it, and we provide it. As a general insurance agency, Fisher Rounds & Associates has aligned itself with the nation's strongest carrier networks, giving you the highest quality coverage at the best possible price. When it comes to claims or other issues, we handle everything so you don't have to. That's what we mean when we say we're at your service and at your side. Fisher Rounds & Associates, proudly serving South Dakota with offices in Pierre, Mitchell, Rapid City, Sioux Falls, and Watertown.
Physical therapy, athletic training, and sports science all at one place. Physio in Rapid City. Dr. Dan Jensen and his team at Physio are ready to help you perform at your best. From the youth athlete to the active adult, trust the team at Physio. Physio offers the skilled, personalized approach to physical therapy and athletic training, building the best athletes in the Black Hills as the official strength and conditioning provider for Stevens, Central, and the Rapid City Rush. Learn more at bhphysio.com.
Hi, it's Colin Coward. Great to be in the Black Hills. Getting the herd weekdays 10 to 1 on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports.
We're just rolling on a Thursday, man. I've had to catch my breath here, man. We're gamers here on the Nate Brown Show, Fox Sports Rapid City. Doug Gottlieb started us off at the Final Four live from New Orleans. Good to get Doug on the show. Just hit all the salary cap stuff and the contracts. Learned a lot. Brad Spielberger on PFF.com. If you missed parts of this show like Doug Gottlieb or Brad Spielberger earlier, the Nate Brown Show podcast, remember to download it where you get your podcast. We're out there, so we get it up every night. You can listen at your own convenience. Just download the show, and you've got us. Download the Nate Brown Show podcast where you find your podcasts. A lot of news out of South Dakota sports. We'll get to that as well coming up next hour. John Thayer, the voice of the University of South Dakota Coyotes, on the way. Let's go down to Tampa, Florida. Buccaneers beat writer, PewterReport.com. It is Matt Matera talking Bucks. Bruce Arians is into the front office. Todd Bowles is the head coach. Tom Brady's still the quarterback. Matt Matera is on the Nate Brown Show, Fox Sports Rapid City, talking Bucks. Matt, good to have you. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. It's been a pretty wild week with all the Fox News, going back to the NFL owners meetings, but everything's going well. Thank you so much for having me on.
I appreciate your time. So I'll ask you as a reporter, I mean, you cover the team and the whole thing. There's all this talk all the time. Well, this person may not like this person, and Tom Brady might not come back to Tampa. He might go to the Dolphins, and all this stuff that's happened. Were you surprised that, boom, here last night, Bruce Arians is done and going to the front office? What was your reaction?
Yeah, I was a little surprised for sure because I was at the NFL owners meetings, as I just mentioned. It was over in West Palm Beach, and typically we get to speak to the general manager, the owner, and the head coach, in this case, which would have been Bruce Arians. But Arians actually left that event early, and they said for personal reasons. They said it was no health issues, but he was leaving for personal issues. That didn't lead me to believe that he was leaving because he's going to take a front office role. So that part was surprising. But Arians clarified, and we spoke to him today at a press conference, that the wheels have been in motion for this for actually quite a while, and Tom Brady was made privy to it right around when Brady decided that he was going to return and play. So he was already well aware of this. It wasn't like they threw this at Brady last second. But Bruce Arians, he's always been about putting everyone else before him. So he said it's all about succession. He doesn't care about making the Hall of Fame. He wants to put the other coaching staff in front of him. And by doing that, he gives Todd Bowles another opportunity to be a head coach. So it was a little surprising, but I believe the rift between, or the alleged rift between Bruce Arians and Tom Brady, it just isn't a thing. I mean, Tom Brady was sitting front row today as Bruce Arians spoke, as Todd Bowles spoke, giving his support for the both of them. So I don't really think there's any issue there. Some people just want to build up speculation.
Okay, I was wondering, Matt, okay, maybe it's not a huge rift, but, the national media, and we're all looking at this and saying, okay, two really, really competitive guys. Do you think there was a little heat there? Just two ultra competitors?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's heat. I just think it's more of, listen, they've worked together for 2 seasons. Every now and then you're going to clash heads and maybe not agree on every single thing. But that's no different than literally any workplace that you're going into.
Right.
I mean, Tom Brady has had some of the best years of his career working with Bruce Arians and playing in Tampa. He obviously won a Super Bowl 2 seasons ago. He broke a ton of franchise records and NFL records. He led the league in passing this year. So to really go out and say that there's been so many issues that they can't even work together, I don't think that's the case, especially because Arians, he's not going to be the head coach, but he's moving into a front office role. So he's still going to be in the organization. His face is going to be popping around everywhere. He'll probably be at practice, too. So I don't see how these guys could, detest each other so much that Arians is still going to stay with the organization. And again, Brady was there at the press conference today showing his support. So how much could these guys really be against each other? I don't think that much. Arians is always critical of everyone. He says, I'll coach him hard and hug him later. So, if Brady makes a mistake, and that doesn't happen too often because he's the GOAT, BA will go and call him out on it, just like he will for every other player. So I'm sure they clashed heads at times, but at the end of the day, they still have a great relationship.
Matt Matera's on, Buccaneers beat writer, PewterReport.com, live from Tampa. He was at the Bruce Arians press conference today. So why did Bruce hang up the coaching board? Why did he hang this up here? He's got Brady for one more year. Make another run, Bruce. What's the story? What did he say?
Right, absolutely. I totally understand that logic, but at the end of the day, Arians felt that it was his time to move to another role in this team, because right now he can control the narrative, and if he leaves now, if he decides to retire, and again, he doesn't need all the accolades anymore. He said he doesn't care about the Hall of Fame. If Bruce Arians wins another Super Bowl, he's probably guaranteed to make the Hall of Fame. You can argue he's a Hall of Famer right now. I probably would. But nonetheless, he wants to make sure that one of his guys, in this case, defensive coordinator Todd Bowles, can become the new head coach. And he said right now it's about that he can control the narrative. He can decide his own destiny. In a year from now, if the Bucs struggle or injuries happen and the team is going in another direction, Todd Bowles might not get that opportunity that he's going to receive right now. So many things can change, and if Arians said he was going to retire in a year anyway, so he just wants to make sure that he helps out everyone else around him, and I think that's an extremely kind gesture. You don't really see that too often. I mean, how many times does an organization, how many times when a coach exits or a big-time player exits, is it really a smooth transition or a thing where everyone's okay on both sides? That's actually the case here. It's, once again, Arians putting other people first, and he did it again here with allowing Todd Bowles to get another stint as the head coach.
This is Matt Matera on the Nate Brown Show, Buccaneers beat writer, PewterReport.com, live from Tampa. Why was it Todd Bowles chosen over, I guess, Byron Leftwich, offensive coordinator? He was up for some head coaching looks. Why Bowles, do you believe?
Yeah, that's a great question, and a lot of people were asking that as well, too. Obviously, Arians has a great relationship with the two of them. Arians and his friendship and mentorship with Bowles goes all the way back to Bowles playing college football at Temple when Bruce Arians was coaching. His first head coaching gig was with Temple, where Todd Bowles was playing. I think Arians really it's a loyalty thing, and that's not to say that he's not loyal to Byron Leftwich, but Bowles has been around a little bit longer, and he likes to help out the veteran guys, especially veteran players, but in this case, a coaching situation. Bowles had already been a head coach one time, and I think learning from that experience, coaching the Jets, and now implementing things that he now knows he would have done differently, or just being more comfortable in that situation, I think he wants to give Bowles that opportunity with that case. And Leftwich, I mean, he almost became the Jaguars head coach last year. I think he's more likely to get multiple head coaching offers in the future, especially if the Bucs have another great season offensively, which with Tom Brady back, Chris Godwin back, and hopefully if they get Rob Gronkowski, then they'll still have one of the top offenses in the league. So I think it's just a little bit of the pecking order in terms of Bowles has been around a little bit longer, and he has that experience of already being a head coach, which could be beneficial for a Bucs team that is still very much in win-now mode.
Do we have any idea what Bruce Arians is going to do day to day? I mean, he's a football guy. He's not going to be an attorney like, doing business deals. What's Bruce going to do?
Yeah, it's funny you asked that because Arians said today at the podium that he's still not even sure what he's going to do. He's pretty much going to be a consultant to Jason Light, the general manager. He said he was willing to help out in any capacity, whether that's with the coaches, whether that's in the front office. He said he's done more scouting in this year's NFL draft than he maybe ever has as a head coach. So I think he's just going to give his advice in multiple different areas, help guide along Todd Bowles in his new head coaching gig, and obviously be a voice to Jason Light as well. But Bruce isn't even totally sure, and I'm sure that's something that they will iron out along the way and figure out by the time the season rolls around.
Good stuff. Busy day for Matt Matera. PewterReport.com, his work there. Buccaneers beat writer. He's on WDAE down there as well. Matt, great to have you on. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, my pleasure, and go Yotes.
All right. I like that. I like it. He knows what's going on. He knows what's going on. Matt Matera, Buccaneers beat writer, PewterReport.com, his work there. Matty4_Matera on Twitter. Matty4_Matera. You can follow him there. Here on the Nate Brown Show, Fox Sports Rapid City. I don't know on the Bruce Arians thing, and it's all buttoned up nicely. It's buttoned up nicely, sewn up, nothing's sticking out, anything like that. It's all buttoned up perfectly, and Bruce Arians just going to go into the front office. He doesn't know what he's going to do, but they've been working on this for quite a while. It's been in development for a while. We don't know what we're going to do for sure, and I don't know if I'm buying the whole company line that Bruce Arians really, it's just time for me to go. When you look at in life, you look at when guys make big decisions, they go to this job or they leave here. It's just mutual. It's just time for me to go. You might want to take a second look. Take a second look. I'm not so sure about it. I'm not going to say Tom Brady and Bruce are just, butting heads all the time, can't stand each other. I'm not saying that. We don't know that. Again, I said yesterday, we don't know all the inner workings behind closed doors in these organizations. I mean, so many personalities and egos and everything involved there. We don't have a clue. It's like I was saying yesterday about Kirk Cousins. The perception is Kirk's a doofus, can't lead a team, a goody two-shoes. Nobody likes him. He's just the nerd of the NFL. That's the perception, yet he goes into a team meeting, according to Ben Lieber, and the players and the staff comes out. It's like, Kirk's the man. He is the man. It's like, we don't have a clue. and so we don't know the whole story there in Tampa. I do not think we know the whole story there in Tampa. But Bruce Arians out as head coach, front office man now. And Bruce is like a football guy. Do you see him being like a front office guy? He's a football guy, right? But he's out. And Tom Brady coming back for one more year, and you're not going to stick that out and make another run? I don't know about that one. Todd Bowles in as head coach. Listener text 720-1067. Totally surprised Leftwich wasn't the chosen coach to be moved to head coach. Offensive coaches are the wave of the current NFL. Yeah, that's interesting. And I think Matt Matera hit that one on the head, I think. He said, hey, Bruce Arians loves Todd Bowles, long relationship, loyalty, the whole thing. It's kind of like Bruce is like, hey, I'm out and we'll do this thing, but Todd Bowles is the guy, okay? So Todd's the guy. I'm thinking Bruce helping with that. Into the Drive at 5 here on the Nate Brown Show this Thursday. So I've got some good stuff for you. I've got a question of the day. I want you to ponder this. Who has the most power in professional sports today? I'm not talking about just one guy or anything like that. What position, basically? What position in professional sports has the most power in 2022? I'm going to throw that out to the audience. I want you to think on that. I never thought I'd say it, but I've got my answer to that. The most power in professional sports belongs to this position. Okay? We'll get into that next. And look at this. Look at this. Las Vegas just put them out. They put them out. The season win totals for the NFL. The season win totals for the NFL came out from Vegas today. Where are my Broncos? Where are your Vikings? Where are the Packers, Cowboys, and more? And where do I think they'll be? A little Las Vegas betting from me next.
You're listening to the only live and local sports talk show in the Black Hills, The Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports RapidCity.com and live on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid.
It's been said many times that life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. Have you been making plans to invest in new windows? Renewal by Andersen makes the best windows. It's that simple. And right now, Renewal by Andersen has an incredible financing offer. No money down, no interest, no payments for 1 full year, no payments for a year. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com, and remember, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans.
From the minute you wake up to the moment you fall asleep, Black Hills Energy is here to support, inspire, and drive your next adventure. Because supporting your day-to-day is our everyday. And we are always here, ready for your next step. Black Hills Energy. Ready.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City. This is the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear, Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
You've got big plans for your new home. At Highmark Federal Credit Union, they have small rates to make it happen. Save money with their construction loan rate special now through April 30th. Right now, they're offering special financing as low as 2.99% APR and no down payment. Let's get to work building you a home as unique as you are. Apply for your construction loan today at highmarkfcu.com or stop by any of their branches to let them save you money on the plans for your new home.
Your number one place in Rapid City for the NCAA men's basketball tournament should be Pour 54, with special hours just for the tournament. They'll be opening early, and they'll have all of the games at the Pour 54 Sports Zone upstairs. With 54 taps, your favorite local and regional beers, plus Detroit-style pizza, wings, pretzel board, and more, Pour 54 is your home for March Madness. Every game is on at Pour 54. To see what they have on tap right now, visit pour54.com.
Hi, this is Dan Patrick. Remember to catch me weekday mornings from 7 until 10 a.m. right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 a.m. Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, back to Rapid City's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Hey, that's good stuff right there on a Thursday in the Drive at 5 tonight on Fox Sports Rapid City. The Nate Brown Show. How are you? Great day in the Black Hills. You know that every day is a great day in the Black Hills. Big news out of University of South Dakota. Oh, we're going to talk Yotes basketball. Don Plitzowite, head women's basketball coach, goes to West Virginia today. John Thayer's coming up, the voice of the Coyotes, live from Vermilion with reaction this hour. Down to Denver, senior editor, Mile High Sports, talking Broncos, talking Rockies. Rockies? Yes, Doug Ottawill's in, live from Denver, straight ahead. Okay, I've got a question for everybody today, and it just, the last few days I started thinking about this, and I said, I think we're seeing big changes in sports and big changes with contracts, and you've got people that have a lot of power now, and they're realizing it. And I want to know, who do you think has the most power in professional sports? I've got three options. These three are the ones that I see controlling everything. These three power positions are the ones I see controlling everything in the world of professional sports. And so my three options are this, okay? And you tell me who you think has the most power in 2022. Who has the most power right now? Star NBA players. This started a long time ago with LeBron taking his talents to Miami, and you know, the list goes on. And then everybody and their mother says, I'm out. I don't like playing here. I want to go here. I want better players. And then we make the teams and the whole thing. And it's a mess. But the star NBA players, I mean, they have started this trend. And you need a good star NBA player, right? Because you only got 5 guys on the floor. You have a couple of dudes. That's how you win. I mean, it was Steph Curry and Kevin Durant there. You throw in Klay Thompson, I guess, when he was playing really, really well. And the Warriors were untouchable. Untouchable. And now that's what you got. Well, we need a star and a star combo and the whole thing. And the star NBA players controlled, well, I don't want to play for this team anymore, like Anthony Davis. Just signed a big deal with New Orleans Pelicans. I don't want to play. I want to go to L.A. Got his way. Sat out and then got his way. So NBA players started getting a lot of power. A lot of power, the star players. How about star NFL quarterbacks now? This has just been developing, I'm going to say, in the last couple of years. Star NFL quarterbacks like who? Aaron Rodgers just got the kitchen sink from the Packers. Aaron Rodgers has won one Super Bowl. I mean, he's outstanding. He's outstanding. He's getting older. He got the kitchen sink from the Packers. And then that leads to Deshaun Watson getting the biggest guaranteed contract. It'll make your head spin. $230 million guaranteed. End of story. And he somehow got it. He hasn't won a playoff game. You know, so you got that going. And then I'm going to tell you, who else controls it? The owners. Boy, how much power do the baseball owners have? How much, you can run through it. The NFL owners, Jerry Jones, and the list goes on. So in 2022, answer the question for me. Those are the three power brokers I see that change the whole dynamic of a team, an organization, the trajectory of an organization. Those are the three power brokers, in my opinion. Star NBA players, star NFL QBs, and team owners. Who do you think has the real power? Who do you think has the real power? Let's open it up. Let's take a look at the polling. In 2022, who has the real power in professional sports right now? 44% of you chiming in right now saying quarterbacks, 31% NBA players, 26% team owners. Interesting breakdown. So we got significant votes for all three categories. But winning right now is NFL quarterbacks. 44% of you say they have all the power in pro sports. 44%. Because you need one. And I said it on the show a few weeks ago. What are you going to do? It's easy to say, these guys are overpaid. They whine, they this, they that. And then you could be out in the cold. Just ask the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to get Deshaun, I think. We got Matt Ryan, but he's on the back end of his deal. He's not playing well. We're going to get Deshaun. No, we didn't. let's trade Matt Ryan. Now we got Marcus Mariota. It's like, well, it saves you some money, but good luck. I'm telling you, we could say they get paid this there. It's just out of control. It is. I'm with the 44%. I thought it was, initially I said the NBA players have it because there's very few. And if you don't have a Kevin Durant, a Giannis, if you don't have it, it feels like you don't have a chance. But yet I've seen some parity grow here. I've seen some parity. If you follow the NBA, I watch these games. I've seen some parity. Do the Phoenix Suns have blockbuster stars? Booker's good. Chris Paul was. I mean, he's a great leader, but he's not a star. Not like a top 10 player. So the Suns are really good. And then you got Memphis, the Memphis Grizzlies of all teams. Well, John Morant. Yeah, I guess he's a star. He's not Kevin Durant. He's not Joel Embiid. John Morant right now, he's a nice player. But so I see maybe, just maybe, the NBA players don't have as much power. Maybe. There's just a select few. But the star NFL QBs, I mean, if you don't have a quarterback, it has changed in the NFL, the style of play, the way we go. If you don't have a quarterback, just ask me as a Broncos fan, you have nothing. That's what it is. If you don't have a quarterback, you have nothing. And I'm a big believer. I don't think you're going to be able to win with the Trent Dilfers anymore in the Baltimore Ravens. Really good defense, a cloud of dust. Just game manage it, and we're good. I don't think you are. Not with the way they're playing, not with the way the games are going, not with the way the scheme is, the whole NFL rules, the whole thing. So, and I throw out the owners. I say the owners are handcuffed by the star quarterbacks. So I know owners have power. They got pocket power. They got pocket power, and that whole thing. There's only 32 of them in the NFL case, so I understand, but the owners are handcuffed. The Cleveland Browns have to put away $160 million in an escrow guaranteed for Deshaun Watson no matter what happens. Deshaun could go down to, injured. The civils cases don't go well. Whatever. Suspension, whatever. They're on the hook, and the Cleveland Browns had to do it. Why? Because everybody was going after Deshaun. They got you handcuffed. So I'm telling you, 44% say star NFL quarterbacks have the most power. In 2022, that is, I'm with you on that. I mean, it's unbelievable. And then you even looked like, did Tom Brady, kind of make his feelings known down in Tampa? Did he make his feelings known in Tampa? Yeah, my guy wasn't Bruce. Maybe that wasn't my guy. Did that whole thing change? I don't know. That's reading between the lines. We can speculate. We don't know. But could be. Could be. Listener text. Didn't Tom Baby leave the Patriots because he could not get along with Bill? What a crybaby. I knew there would be somebody coming in with that one. Okay, win totals really quick. Win totals. We got to do it. We got to do it. Las Vegas just put them out. The season win totals for the Broncos, the Vikings, the Chiefs. Who do you think has the highest projected season win total in Las Vegas this afternoon? Who has the highest win total in the NFL? There's a tie. One team in the AFC, one team in the NFC. We'll break it down and get into it with Doug Ottewill live from Denver next.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, streaming live at FoxSportsRapidCity.com and right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
Have you hit a pothole or curb with your car? Does your vehicle need an adjustment or have an alignment, shock, or strut issue? Black Hills Tire is your one-stop shop for complete automotive service and repair in the Black Hills area. Trust your vehicle with no one else but Black Hills Tire. Contact Weston, Denise, and the guys at Black Hills Tire, where honesty, reliability, and safety is their top priority. Black Hills Tire voted the #1 shop for automotive repair and brake repair and tire store in the Black Hills. Ask about their free pickup and delivery. Black Hills Tire. Check them out online at blackhillstire.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A winter weather advisory begins at 11 p.m. tonight and continues until noon tomorrow. Cloudy tonight with rain mixed with snow likely. Lows around 33. Northwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. 50 tomorrow. Chance for mixed precipitation. Lows level off around 29. Tomorrow night, about an inch of snow tonight through tomorrow. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 54.
Hey, sports parents and athletes, are you ready to up your game? Well, then it's time to get started at Rapid City's premier sports facility and training center, Rapid Skills. With 35,000 square feet of space, including basketball and volleyball courts, free weights, indoor turf, and more, Rapid Skills is ready to help you become your best. With a great team of coaches, various camps, and memberships available, Rapid Skills is creating champions. Get in the game at Rapid Skills. Learn more at RapidSkillsAthleticTraining.com.
It's tax time, and the time to buy is now at Denny Menholt Rapid Chevrolet. We have local used vehicles from every major manufacturer, cars and trucks to fit all your 2022 travel needs. Many priced below NADA book value. Choose from the largest selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs in the Black Hills. Over 400 to shop from, all credit applications accepted. The right cars, the right prices, the right experience. At Denny Menholt Rapid Chevrolet, Rapid City.
Black Hills Community Bank in Rapid City and Spearfish is your home loans bank, and with rates still low, you should ask them if your tax refund will cover your down payment on your home sweet home. Black Hills Community Bank is ready to be your local partner in helping you take that next step to home ownership. With local originators, underwriting and processing, and several down payment assistance options, is now your time to look at home ownership? Black Hills Community Bank in Rapid City and Spearfish at bhcbank.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Rapid City, 106.7 FM, 1150 AM. Thanks for listening. I hope your Thursday's solid. The Drive at 5 right here, brought to you by Summit Automotive Group. Thanks for being a part of the Drive at 5 on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. And the Drive at 5, Summit Automotive Group. If you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, it's been kind of hard to find the selection. So Stacy and Matt, they do it for you at Summit. Experience the Summit difference. You know it, okay? Car buying truly built around you. Find out how. The right financing, the right vehicle selection, no high-pressure sales stuff. They want you to keep coming back, family, friends. Experience the Summit difference. SummitAutoGRP.com. Start there before you buy. Doug Ottewell's in tonight from Denver. Are we going to get to the Rockies here? I don't know. We'll see how this goes. We're going to start Broncos. We're going to start season win totals from Las Vegas today. Doug Ottewell, Mile High Sports. Find him on Twitter at @DOttewell. Doug, good to talk to you. How are you?
I'm good. You know, we're here in Denver. It's great.
Okay, I know, man. We're just juiced. We are just juiced. By the way, I was talking to a salary cap guy today from PFF, and I was breaking down. It's like, hey, Russell Wilson doesn't cost a ton right now, and if he does what we hope he does, what are the Broncos going to do with Russell Wilson? I mean, it's like contract extension. We're going to get into that $45 to $50 million a year range for Russ?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, and I think that George Paton kind of had to have had that in the back of his mind when he made the move. And I think if you look at what they've done in the offseason, they made some nice moves, but they haven't, they bank to bring anybody in yet. So I don't anticipate that happen. I still think that he's a build through the draft guy, and I think that he will, he's going to make moves that will allow him to keep Russell Wilson long term. I mean, everything from Russell's press conference.
Did I lose him? Are you there? Do I have you?
Yep, you got me?
Okay, I got you now. Clear.
Yeah. I was saying, everything that the Russell Wilson has said, everything that George Paton said, I mean, unless they're just, glorifying things. The plan is for him to be here long term. And I think that everything that George Paton has done has positioned the Broncos to do that. And I know he knows it's going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm with you on it because I said teams now are handcuffed. If you don't have a quarterback, you have nothing. And we've experienced that in Denver. I mean, we've seen it. It's a proud organization, playoffs every year it felt like, and then there was nothing. And so I said, I'm going to throw out this question of the day, Doug. I want you to answer this for me. I've already gave my answer. Who has the most power in professional sports in 2022? Star quarterbacks, star NBA players, we know how they've controlled and trajectories of organizations, or team owners? Who really has the most power?
It's a really interesting question because I think that, number one, it used to be NBA stars, but we are seeing this transition in the NFL right now where the quarterbacks essentially have become NBA stars.
Yeah.
It's certainly not the owners. I mean, the owners in the NFL, the owners are losing control of one of sports' most golden goose. I mean, it's, and I don't think that they've lost control of the league. I don't think that it's fundamentally broken, but I do think that it's trending way more like the NBA, where there's guaranteed contracts. There's guys that are saying, I mean, Russell Wilson's a great example. I don't want to play here. Trade me.
Right.
I mean,
right.
that did not happen in the NFL. You might have some guys threaten to hold out, but that was never very profitable for very long for most guys that ever did it. But yeah, you're seeing a shift in power big time in the NFL, and it really is the quarterback position. They are the NBA stars of the NFL.
I'm with you on it. I said quarterbacks. 42% of the audience says quarterbacks. 32% say NBA players still. 27% say the owners. There's a lot of answers on all three, but quarterbacks is winning. And I'll tell you, just this year, it has come into focus. And I think this has kind of started last couple of years. Mahomes got a big deal. Josh Allen got a big deal, but nobody got $230 million guaranteed like Deshaun Watson did last week. I mean, that is just off the charts. And Russell Wilson, we shall see how it goes for the Broncos. Let's put this out, Doug. Season win total is out from Las Vegas today, and the Broncos are at 10. I better book that over today. 10-7.
Oh, yeah.
Las Vegas says 10-7. The Broncos got to be better than that.
Weren't they 9.5 last year?
Yeah, I was going to say something
sure
like
that. They were.
Yeah.
I'm 99% sure that they were, because on our Broncos cover of the magazine, it said 9.5. How you betting? And I'm telling you right now, if Russell Wilson doesn't, look, I think the AFC West is tough. It is a tough division. So there are not a lot of free games within the division. But I just think, Russell Wilson is a guy who he's not used to losing, and he's not used to, limping into a wild card spot. I mean, he's a guy that's a winner. And to think that this team can't win 10 games, if I heard early on people talking about, they could win 12 games. 12 games is a lot of wins in the AFC West.
Yes.
So I think that 10 isn't an unfair number necessarily, but I'm certainly going over. I mean, Russell Wilson would get you 11 games. I'm sure of that.
It feels like the Broncos can't go 10-7, even though the season in the AFC West is tough. I get it. They've still got some favorable games on their schedule, but then they have to play the NFC West, so I don't love that either. But I'm going to go over on that. The Broncos are sitting at 10, and I guess Vegas is telling us today, Doug, the AFC West is just tough. So here it is. Chiefs 10.5, Chargers 10, Broncos 10, Raiders 8.5. How would you go with those other teams? Chiefs 10.5?
I think that the Chiefs, to me, feel like the one in the division that has slipped. That said, you still have to knock them off. They still are the Chiefs, and I don't think that they're going to fall too far. But the loss of Tyreek Hill, I mean, there's one thing that was said all week after Tyreek Hill was traded. The Broncos are better than they were last year. The Chiefs are worse. There's no way you can make that, you can make the argument any other than that. When you lose a weapon like Tyreek Hill, and I know they replaced, Juju Schuster and this, that, and the other, but and you still have Patrick Mahomes. So I'm not saying by any means the Chiefs aren't good, but they lost arguably one of the best weapons outside of a quarterback in the NFL. So I think that hurts them. I really do. I mean, I think that hurts what they can and can't do within that offense because there's only one Tyreek Hill. So I think that if anybody, the number dips, it's the Chiefs. But that's reflected in that number. You said they were 10.5.
10.5, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, last year, and without knowing what it was definitively, my guess is that they were at 12.5.
Yeah, 11.5 maybe, 12, yeah. Last year, I'm thinking, I don't have it in front of me either. The one team I'm saying, Doug, AFC West, why are we thinking the Chargers are going to be this juggernaut all of a sudden? I don't buy it. They're sitting at 10 like the Broncos. That's the team I'm saying. They always go under. They always do.
Yeah, they've just got that reputation. I think people are still waiting for Justin Herbert to come into his own and be the Justin Herbert that everybody thinks he can be. And maybe this is the year, and maybe that's why that number is. But, I mean, I think, if you're looking at the division, I would say the Raiders are a little underrated. 8.5 seems pretty low. But again, you go back to what we were saying earlier, there's not a bad team in this division. So they're going to beat each other up. So those numbers being clumped all together right there seems probably right. And then if you look around the rest of the AFC, outside of the AFC West, I mean, it only got better. Every team added, not every team, but every team that added a big quarterback got better. So, you think about the Browns, you think about the Colts, depending on how you weigh in on
Bills are good.
Matt Ryan, but
Bills are good.
Bills are and I went through and did the math. There's at least 11 playoff caliber quarterbacks in the AFC right now. Not everybody's going to make it. And so, you look at those 11 and if it's just hey, does this guy make the playoffs? Does that guy make the playoffs? You go down the list, it's 11 of them. Yes. But that's not possible, not mathematically possible. So some team is going to be left out that A, got a really good quarterback, and B, probably has a pretty good team.
Yeah, who's going to underperform these Las Vegas numbers? That's what I'm always interested in. Who's going to underperform? Colts, with Matt Ryan, they're at 9.5. The Browns, Deshaun Watson, I guess, if he's going to play, people are thinking, but we don't know. Las Vegas says Browns, 9.5. Colts, 9.5. Browns, 9.5. Interesting stuff. I want to get your take on this before I let you run. Doug Ottewill on tonight from Denver Mile High Sports. Rockies, and I'll throw out the number for you. We got to get a number. The Rockies won 74 games last year in an NL West that was really good with the Giants and the Dodgers. We know that. Padres. And now this year, another good NL West division. The Rockies are at 68.5. Tell me if we're going to win more games than that or not.
Gosh, I got to think over. And I don't really know why, other than that seems like a low number. I mean, they
second
were not
lowest,
good at all last year.
I should say third lowest in the National League. Third lowest.
Yeah, I don't quite buy that. I mean, if nothing else, I just look at that and say, I don't know how they won 74 games last year, but they did. So to drop another
6
games, I mean, that seems like a lot. The Rockies are interesting. I think that, Chris Bryant is going to add some pop in the lineup. C.J. Cron shown that he can hit home runs. I don't know. They're not a good baseball team, but I do think that they are slightly better than people think.
Okay. All right.
They have the same problem that the Broncos have, or potentially could have, though, is that they're playing in the toughest division in the sport. And it's just, your wins have to come from somewhere, and they're not very likely to come within the division. So, it's one of those things where I think they're not a good team. I mean, we can't sugarcoat that, but
you just said they're better than people think. Come on.
But they're not good.
Okay.
Better than people think. Yeah.
So here's why
I can live with that.
I'm going to go with the over, I think, because the Rockies are 68.5 projected wins. The Diamondbacks, who were dog biscuits, the Diamondbacks are 66.5. 66.5. So I'm going to say, give me the Rockies. They're going to be better than the D-backs. So give me the Rockies.
Yeah, and one thing people forget about the Rockies last year, not that they're the exact same team, but they were pretty good on the road for a while there mid-summer. They were better on the road than they were at home for a while, which is very rare for Colorado. But, maybe some of that carries over. I think Bud Black's a good enough manager that he squeezes some wins out of teams that aren't good. 68 just seems low. It seems really low.
All right.
Rockies. They're not good. I'm not booking my World Series tickets yet, but 68, I think I have to go over. It's almost one of those numbers that you're just like, I can't go under this. That's
well, yeah, right. Right. 74 wins last year to 68.5. They have them, and look at the Diamondbacks. 52 wins last year. They got them going up to 66. That's a huge jump. All right.
Yeah, and I don't know what the Diamondbacks have done in the offseason, but I can't imagine that it's enough to make that kind of jump.
14 games? I don't know. They were bad last year, but Doug Ottewell on tonight. MileHighSports.com, Mile High Sports Magazine. Doug, always good, man. Thanks a lot.
Hey, thanks, Nate. I'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate your time. Doug Ottewell on the Nate Brown Show tonight. One of our favorites from Denver, D. Ottewell on Twitter. Doug Ottewell live from Mile High Sports, senior editor. Back with John Thayer on the Nate Brown Show. He's the voice of the South Dakota Coyotes. Covered Don Plitzowite in the women's program a long time. The voice of the Coyotes, John Thayer, on Don Plitzowite's exit to West Virginia. Next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
It's been said many times that life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. Have you been making plans to invest in new windows? Renewal by Andersen makes the best windows. It's that simple. And right now, Renewal by Andersen has an incredible financing offer. No money down, no interest, no payments for 1 full year. No payments for a year. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com, and remember, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans.
Don't make a bad call the next time you need an attorney. The lawyers of Claiborne, Lowson, Sabers have been serving the legal needs of clients throughout the state for over 75 years. Serious legal issues like divorce, business disputes, personal injury, and criminal matters require a solid team. When you need a win, call Claiborne, Lowson, Sabers at 721-1517. Claiborne, Lowson, Sabers, proudly supporting our area's youth and sports teams in their pursuit of excellence.
Not all trusts fit in a box. We do our best to put a personal touch on each one and really listen to our customers and make sure that we take care of them the very best that we can.
We are going to apply the best of our knowledge and ability and care to really analyze their situation and find all the best solutions that we possibly can.
We customize what we do to what you need. Pioneer Bank and Trust is local.
Hi, this is Jeremy with Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, inviting you to kickstart your morning by dropping by and grabbing some fresh donuts. I want to thank you for voting us the best in the Black Hills. We're up early making your favorite donuts, so stop by and bring some to the office. Everybody loves Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, and we love you, so stop by, get a great selection to brighten up your day. Serving Rapid City for over 40 years, Jerry's Cakes and Donuts at 109 East Omaha, and remember to like Jerry's on Facebook for some great giveaways.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is live on Fox Sports Rapid City. We're also up on Twitter. Watch the show. Welcome into the studio at Nate Brown Show. Follow us on Twitter, and you got the live show right now at Nate Brown Show on Twitter. Welcome in. Catch the podcast. It'll be up tonight. Listen at your own convenience when you can to the Nate Brown Show podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon, Audible. We're out there wherever you download your podcast. Catch the Nate Brown Show podcast. Good guests tonight. Really good. Doug Gottlieb joined us from the Final Four. We got Doug on tonight, man. He has to host a show 3 hours on Fox Sports Radio. I said, man, we got to talk college hoops, Doug, and you gave us some time tonight from the Final Four. Great guest tomorrow as well. Another live report from the Final Four tomorrow. All right? Well, big college basketball news in South Dakota today. USD women's head coach Dawn Plitzuweit is out on her way to the Big 12. West Virginia, the new head coach for the West Virginia women's program. So Dawn Plitzuweit, what a run. What a run. Summit League regular season titles, Summit League tournament titles, 4 appearances, NCAA tournament. John Thayer covered that program for a long time. He was the voice of Coyote women's basketball. Now he's the voice of the men's basketball program and football. Voice of the Coyotes, John Thayer, joins us from Vermilion here on the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. John, good to talk to you. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate your time. So, you know, it's the name of the game. I say, unfortunately, I've seen this a lot, and you've been in college sports. You've seen it. USD women, for example, John, had Amy Williams, Spearfish native. We know her out here. Amy Williams, great job at USD. Got them on a national level. Goes to Nebraska. Now Dawn Plitzuweit, unbelievable run over 6 years, and now goes to West Virginia. So not a stunner, but what's your reaction?
You know, you could even start with one before that with Ryan Williams, who's at Colorado State now.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's been a good program that's built coaches. My reaction is two different things. Number one, I'm sad for USD fans. I'm sad for the program and everything, because 6 years ago they announced they were hiring Dawn Plitzuweit. We're all like banging our Google machines trying to figure out who in the world is Dawn Plitzuweit from Northern Kentucky and why. Like, what's the connection? Well, we quickly got to know Coach P, and she's just been an unbelievable ambassador for USD. She's been ingrained in the community. 2 kids have graduated from Vermilion High School, and she's been great. But I'm also really excited for her and for her family, because I think Coach has earned this opportunity. She spent a long time as an assistant, won a national title at Division II, took Northern Kentucky, took over that when they were in transition, which is really hard to do. Came here the year after South Dakota won the WNIT, and fans are riding high. And, by the way, you lose 4 of your starters from that team going into your first year. So she had a lot of pressure on her to start, and she just continued to take this program to new heights, and she's earned this opportunity. You know, sometimes, unfortunately, I'm not going to say her decision was solely based on money, but when you get the opportunity to have life-changing money for your family, that is really hard to turn down. But I do think she had to have felt like it was a very, very good fit and a really good opportunity, because I believe our last 2 coaches that I've worked with, Amy Williams and Dawn Plitzuweit, neither one of them leave USD unless it's nearly the perfect opportunity for them. And they saw that, and Dawn's going to get her opportunity. So really excited for her, because it's the Big 12. I think, you know, there's obviously good basketball in the Big 12. I believe she can build the West Virginia into a, middle, upper pack contender type team. They're not always going to compete probably for a Big 12 title, but she's going to have a program that competes there. And so that's really exciting. I know a lot of people will enjoy following her time at West Virginia.
John Thayer, voice of the Coyotes here on the Nate Brown Show. Find John on Twitter at John C. Thayer. What do you think was her best attribute? It's a tough one. I've been around coaches. I say, wow, this guy's a great recruiter. This lady's great relationship builder. This person's great at X's and O's. What was the best thing about Dawn Plitzuweit, which took her to a record that was unbelievable, 158 wins and 36 losses?
It's amazing what she's done here. I think one area that people don't see enough is that she is just an unbelievable teacher of the game. She finds a way to connect to her players and gets them to understand what they need to do. And you have to be, when you run an offense that's full of screens and motion, if you don't teach that correctly, it's going to be fouls all day. You see illegal screens all the time, right? Like, she's just an unbelievable teacher of the game and just finds a way to connect to her players on a level that is extremely personal and gets them to play at a high level. And that's why they've had so much success, especially over the last few years.
Why do you think, or how difficult it's going to be on the recruiting trail? USD, I think, is probably unique. It's like, Well, it's hard to recruit there, but the program's been at a national level, so it's like, well, we win Summit League titles just on a regular basis. So if you want to play and reach the tournament, we're going to do that. West Virginia doesn't get to the tournament hardly at all yet. Well, you want to play in the Big 12? This is what we're going to build here. Is this going to be a tough road?
Are you talking about for
West
her
Virginia?
West Virginia?
Yeah, for her.
Yeah. Here's what I think is, at South Dakota and South Dakota State, unfortunately, we're in a league where it's a one-bid league. We have seen it be a two-bid league, but this year proves that we still don't have the respect of a two-bid league. South Dakota State should be in the NCAA tournament. They're playing tonight in the WNIT semifinals. They should have been there. This should be a consistent two-bid league because we've seen that, but there's just too much of a gap between the top and the bottom right now. West Virginia can get to the tournament. You don't have to be the number one team. Your season doesn't come down to the 3 days in a conference tournament when you're at West Virginia in the Big 12. You finish top 5, maybe top 6, depending on the year of the league. You're going to have an opportunity to compete for the in an NCAA tournament. So I think she's going to be able to show that she can recruit and build, and just the excitement of playing for her and her style, they're going to have an opportunity to make NCAA tournaments. I can't remember how many Big 12 teams made it this year, but you look at the Pac-12, you look at the Big 10, consistently 5 teams into the tournament or more. And I think the Big 12 can be that type of league, and that's the opportunity for her. Coaches get judged on wins, they get judged on postseason appearances. It's really hard in our league because the only guarantee is winning a tournament that spans 4 days in Sioux Falls.
Yeah. John Thayer on voice of the USD Coyotes. Covered the women's program a long time on the radio side with Don Plitzowite as the head coach. John C. Thayer on Twitter here on the Nate Brown Show. Don Plitzowite leaving USD, going to West Virginia. So David Herbster, we've had him on a lot. I just have a feeling it's like, I know David, man, he's smart. He's been in this game. He's got to be ready for this. He knows the deal. He's a basketball guy, and he knows how good Don Plitzowite was doing there at USD. So I would expect David Herbster not too surprised, and I wonder how quickly the replacement movement gets going here.
Yeah, he always uses the old John Wooden quote, be quick, but don't hurry. Although men's basketball was replaced very quickly, right?
Yeah,
they moved quickly. They zeroed in on a target, went after it, and there's a lot of interest. There has to be a lot of interest in this job at South Dakota. So he's going to narrow it down to a list. And I would imagine, in a couple of weeks, within a couple of weeks, we'll know, because he understands what the student athletes currently are going through. You have to re-recruit your team that's currently at the university. You have to re-recruit those kids who are committed or signed to come to your university. So there's a lot of work to be done, and he's going to go to work on that, and obviously he's got a track record of hiring successful coaches. So it'll be exciting to see what the next era looks like for women's basketball.
I would think he would have a short list ready to go. I just would think with the success Don Plitzowite's been having. Don Plitzowite to West Virginia. Now USD looking for the next head women's coach. Last 2 coaches, Amy Williams to Nebraska, Don Plitzowite to West Virginia. Going from $250,000 salary, which is good, that's great, up to nearly $600,000 a year at West Virginia. John Thayer on tonight. Voice of the Coyotes. John, good to have you, man. Thanks for stopping in.
Hey, glad to do it anytime. Thanks, Nate.
Appreciate it. John Thayer tonight covers USD men's basketball and the football program. Voice of the Coyotes, John Thayer here on the Nate Brown Show with reaction to Don Plitzowite. There's just not much the universities can do. I mean, the budgets aren't anywhere near Big 12 budgets, Big 10 budgets. That's where the last 2 coaches went. I mean, that's something. You go from USD to Nebraska, and Amy Williams did a nice job down there at Nebraska. You follow that on the women's side. She's done a nice job there. And Don Plitzowite now to West Virginia. Let's go to who's hot and who's not tonight. Wrapping up a Thursday show with some good stuff. So, which Final Four team has the best players from high school? They just looked at where were all these players, Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, where were they all ranked? All these 4 stars, 5 stars. Do those guys get it right? Which team has the best players that were highly recruited in high school. Which team has the best group? Who do you think? I've got the numbers. And by the way, Mark Emmert, the president of the NCAA, oh boy, he's still wanting some help. That's next.
The Nate Brown Show.
Dale's Tire and Retreading has been providing quality brands of tires and excellent service to the Black Hills area for over 50 years. Dale's Tires sells tires for cars, trucks, SUVs, agriculture, construction, and more. Dale's Tire has what you need when you need it and offers appointment times to get you in and out faster. See the experts at Dale's Tire and Retreading. 2 convenient locations in Rapid City, 691 Deadwood Avenue and 3200 Campbell Street. Dale's Tire and Retreading.
With 2 locations in Rapid City, Pizza Ranch is ready to serve your family. Every Wednesday is Kids Day. This is the best deal out there with the best buffet in town. One child 12 and under eats free for every regular priced adult at the Pizza Ranch Buffet Wednesdays. And don't forget their senior special every Tuesday for $8.99. The Pizza Ranch Buffet. It's all good at the Pizza Ranch with 2 locations in Rapid City. And remember, daily online specials for carryout or delivery at PizzaRanch.com.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
All right, let's do this on a Thursday night. Wrapping up the show. What a fun show tonight. Great guests across the board. Doug Gottlieb joined us from the Final Four. Catch the Nate Brown Show podcast. It'll be out tonight. We are live, Fox Sports Rapid City. Who's hot and who's not, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. Best buffet in Rapid City is the Pizza Ranch. From the chicken to the cactus spread to the salad bar and the buffet your way. If the pizza's not on the buffet that you like, they'll make it for you. Bring it to your table. Buffet your way at the Pizza Ranch. 2 locations. Open 11 to 8 daily. The Pizza Ranch Buffet here in Rapid City. All right, who's hot category is going to go to my Duke Blue Devils. I'm sorry, but I got to give you some good inside information here as the Dukies go into the Final Four. They just broke down all of the starters of every team, Kansas, North Carolina, Villanova, Duke. Who has the highest ranked recruits all the way back to high school? You go back to high school, who has the combination of all the highest ranked recruits? Duke, and it's not even close. Can they pull it off? Do they have the best players? Well, they have the highest ranked high school kids, including their 5 starters, all ranked in the top 30 of players in their class. Their 5 starters were all kids in the top 30 in the country in their class, including this past year, Paolo Banchero from Seattle, high school in Seattle. Paolo Banchero, the number 2 player in the country. Everyone else in the top 30 in their starting 5. The Dukies, Coach K, he got the real guys. Can they finish it off with a title? In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category, it's got to be president of the NCAA, Mark Emmert, today. He gave a big press conference down at the Final Four today. And he said this: we have 30-plus states that have different name, image, and likeness laws. Makes it very difficult for the NCAA. What? Yeah. He says, we have to have Congress find a single model for which name, image, and likeness with student athletes can be regulated by Congress. That's going to be a big task. Mark, I understand we need a blanket deal. We need consistency. But your problem, Mark, you had years to work on this. You decided, like, all these state laws are going into effect in July 2021. Like, we kind of have to do something. And they started a couple of months before. They just started working on it a couple of months before the deadline of the state laws taking effect. And now Mark's saying, hey, we really got to get Congress on this. You know what it takes, Mark? Hey, Mark, there's a little saying. It's like an act of Congress. It takes forever. Started working on that a while ago. Surprise, surprise. He's like, hey, we need Congress to help with this name, image, and likeness thing. Maybe, start looking into that 4 or 5 years ago. back with a Friday show tomorrow and a great guest lineup ready to roll. The Nate Brown Show back at 4. We'll send you to the Odd Couple right now. Catch the podcast